Hello, everybody. I'm sorry I'm late this evening, but once again, we had last minute Airbnb and they can't find the reservation. So it happens every now and then. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of house cleaning as we do the live stream because the show still goes on. And tonight, SVB, signature bank collapse, bailouts. And what does this mean for you? How does this affect you? We're gonna talk about this tonight. And welcome. Stop struggling now. Gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. And I'm going to have to get this phone call. So I'm going to play a little video so I can get to this real quick. So I'll be back in a second. All right. Come on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And as you can see, the show still goes on, even when I have a little disarray in the background. But nonetheless, we're still making it happen. And so therefore, I just want to thank you so much for being here. So tonight, let me know what you're thinking, ladies and gentlemen, about this SVB, about this banking situation. And Laverne Penix is in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream with the icon next to his name. That means he is a member of the channel. And once again, he brings his tagline, hello, SSN Nation. I hope everyone is doing well. I received a notification and saw the trailer. He's been getting the notification and trailer every time for the last few months. This is a record. Thank you so much for letting me know. And again, the show must go on, ladies and gentlemen. And so I'm doing some things in the background. So once again, let me know what you think. SVB, Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank. They're calling it a collapse. I don't even know how to call it a collapse. It sounds like a bailout to me. There's no collapsing. The federal government and the FDIC said that they're going to make sure that these people have money. I'm trying to figure out what the heck is going on here because once again, I thought we were in a capitalist system, and more I keep seeing that we are in a socialist environment. And of course, you know Silicon Valley Bank, whose money they're holding, the top 10 percenters money, the hedge funds, the startups, those are millions of dollars. That puts them in the top 1%, quite frankly. Noticed how they had no problem coming to bail these guys out, nor did they have a problem bailing out Signature Bank. So just letting you know, that is pretty serious, and they're doing it. So what I'm going to do is, as you guys can see, our red screen here, the U.S. government steps in and says people with funds deposited at SVB will be able to access their money. How crazy is this, ladies and gentlemen? How crazy is this? This is exactly what is expected to happen. And the bank and the regulators are Johnny on the spot. This happened on Thursday. Ladies and gentlemen, remember on Friday, I was talking about how can somebody that is has a fund, a VC, and all these guys, it's 2 p.m. in California. That's the cutoff time for bank wires because it's not an Eastern time zone. Most banks, you can't wire after 2 p.m. You can request a wire, but they're not going to do it for the next day. So when people are on here, and I've heard all over the internet, when they started going, yeah, I'm a venture capitalist, I was able to pull out our money, I called BS. You can't. And they're saying, oh, we didn't know about it until Thursday afternoon. I'm like, well, then that was too late. Somehow, though, they were able to get their money out, which is incredible. So these are the type of things that we have to deal with. They have significant advantages because they should have had to have their money go the next day. And the fact the bank closed down, shut down everybody's accounts the next day. So therefore, there was no way for them to do wires. And they're claiming they got out hundreds of millions of dollars combined. I'm sitting there going, well, then how did you even get the heads up? Insider trade, the whole thing stinks. All right. And then on Monday, over the weekend, they've already determined on Monday, we're going to make sure all the depositors, well, $250,000 or more, you guys are good. This is pretty astounding and crazy. Crazy stuff happening here, ladies and gentlemen. Crazy. All right, here we are. Laverne Penix says, I took your advice. I don't keep my money in the bank anymore. Laverne Penix, now you understand, and he did the damn thing. This is exactly what I'm talking about. It's not worth it. For a what? A 1%, 2%, 3%, 0% money, and you're at risk the whole damn time? Because I bet believe Las Vegas Bank, you best believe they would not be getting a bailout because they're not going to be in the ecosystem on the Federal Reserve System. You guys know, well, most people may not know, Silicon Bank has startup companies. These are all the billionaires, the millionaires. This is their playground where they're able to get loans for their startups. The startups don't even make money. They're losing money and they're giving people loans. How are you going to be solvent? You can't be. First, straight off the box. I don't understand this leverage over leverage over leverage, and they act like it's normal. But I'm very happy to hear this, Laverne Penix, because again, this just proves anybody that was at Silicon Valley Bank when I was sitting there saying, hey, don't put your money in the bank. People now may understand what I'm talking about. This is not going to stop. And the federal government can't bail out everybody. Hello, Victor Marrero. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. Thank you so much for being here with the icon next to your name. And he says, hello, all. Let's do this. And we're going to make it happen. But we got to have this serious discussion, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you guys are thinking, because here's a perfect example. There's people where they just jumped in because they are a certain bank. Let's just call it what it is. If this was just ordinary bank on the corner, they would not even have thought twice. They would have just said, oh, well, maybe somebody will take you over. You can send your depositors' accounts to another bank. No, they're Johnny on the spot. By Friday, they already knew that they were going to be closing down the bank and take over in less than 1 day. How is this possible? This is crazy. All right, Victor Marrero, I appreciate you being here once again. Auntie Val, Professor Auntie Val, welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream with the icon next to her name, and beachside coffee coming soon. She's bringing it in. Good evening, fam. Good evening to you with the heart, with the strength and the support. She's in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. Very nice to see you again, a.k.a. Professor. That's what she's known in these parts as. And Laverne Penix is also known in this house as Mr. Cool. So we have everybody's name in order here. And Georges Charles is in the house. The emerging millionaire's on tap. He's here with the icon next to his name. And he says his tagline, hello, smart money people. That's right, smart money people. We're in the house tonight. Thank you so much, Georges Charles. I was appreciating that. I was waiting for this lesson. Georges Charles. Hey, man, there was nothing to it but to do it, right? We were talking about this for 4 years, as Laverne Penix has said. He says, I took your advice, keeping my money out of the bank. So therefore, the duffel bag of cash is ready. We don't have to worry about taking stuff out last minute, worrying about the bank taking over. All of this stuff, I can't even believe what I'm hearing from this bank. They're saying all depositors will be hold. So I'm like, since when does the government do anything like this in a matter of 48 hours, business hours? We're talking about Friday is one business day. Monday is another business day. Sure, they had over the weekend to talk, but the fact of the matter is these guys were Johnny on the spot for the top 1%ers bank. Yeah, they didn't let any grass grow under their feet, worrying about if I'm going to get my money out. They already came to the forefront and said, we got you covered. We got your back. Yeah, it was not a bailout. It was a takeover. Professor Auntie Val. Well, I look at it. I don't know what to call it. Takeover could, yes, FDIC took over. This is true. But to me, the people that took the risk with these loans, with the startups and all that, they got bailed out. That's the terms I use, because yes, it's a takeover, but at the same time, they basically are just making sure all the depositors are whole. So who's going to pay for this money that they're giving them? It's all leverage. This is insane. And anyhow, I got to get this call, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm actually going to play a little brief video, and we'll do it this way. I'll play, let's see. We'll do this one. right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for sticking by. Yes, that's Larimar. We had Gwen on this evening, early afternoon, talking about units. And oh, by the way, in case you got the latest news, I'm up front now in Tower 2, 1101 unit, apparently. So there we are, ladies and gentlemen. So now the choice is, do I pay 118,900, or do I pay 133,900, $15,000? Overlook the pool, partial ocean view, or full ocean view, but don't overlook the pool, but you overlook the boardwalk completely. That's the $1 million question. Is it worth the extra 15,000? Investors, let me know what you guys think. All right, so we're back over to Professor Auntie Val was saying it was a takeover. Well, I can say that as well. I have to agree with that because that's exactly what happened. And they fired the West Coast Fed president because he was actually a director on the board, which they should have. This is insanity what's happening here, ladies and gentlemen, right before our very eyes. Again, regulators approved plans Sunday to backstop both depositors and financial institutions associated with Silicon Valley. Takeover, bailout, I don't see any difference because they should have went down in a capitalist society. We know who's going to be taken care of in an oligarch such as the United States of America. This is not capitalism. Once again, do not be confused. It's capitalism for us. It's socialism if you're part of the top 5% club. Officials will unwind both SVB and Signature Bank, ensuring that depositors will have full access to their funds on Monday. All right, this was yesterday. All right, just so you guys understand. The Federal Reserve stepped in with a separate facility that will provide loans up to 1 year for institutions affected by bank failures. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't understand. Somebody's going to have to, somebody here, please let me know if I collect $20 billion in depositors' funds, but I have hundreds of $millions of loans. Clearly, even if I took all my depositors' money and loaned it out, where's the other money going to come from? And I know some people are going to say, hey, they got the mortgage-backed securities. Yeah, okay. But the mortgage-backed securities, they don't come to fruition for 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. So just because it says they have $200 billion of mortgage-backed securities, well, right now it's not worth $200 billion. Remember, people have to pay monthly. It's not worth that right now. They can't do anything. So basically, you have a big old hole there, and it's a loan. It's leverage. There's nothing you can do with that mortgage-backed crap. So it's not liquid. So, of course, you have a big hole if people all of a sudden roll in and be like, hey, man, I need my money. And when there's a run on the bank, well, this is what's going to happen. But again, this shouldn't even be allowed. This is craziness. They're giving them another loan on top of loans they already owe. Crazy. Today, we are taking decisive action to protect the U.S. economy. Here we go again. No. You're not protecting any U.S. economy. You're protecting your buddies by strengthening public confidence in our banking. Okay, I don't know who has public confidence in our banking system because everybody here in the SSN Nation, you guys already know no money in the bank. That's standard issue. All right, it's not worth the risk. Remember, when you give your money to the bank, that is just you're transferring your money to them. They own it. That's what the paperwork says that you sign when you open up an account. It's no longer your money. So when you're trying to take out 25 grand and they sit there and say, what do you want this money for? Why are you taking your money out? I don't think we're going to let you take your money out today. Guess what? They have all the rights to do that, no matter how upset you can get. So just keep all that in mind for future reference because this will not be the last. Oh, and by the way, Signature Bank, the third largest bank to fail in American history. Silicon Bank is the 15th largest bank to fail in U.S. history. Who's up next? Who's up next? All this is leverage, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, it's intertwined. Think of it this way. If I loan John Doe $1 million and John Doe and all the other depositors gave my bank $500,000. Where did I get the $1 million? Well, maybe I borrowed from the Fed themselves to facilitate this loan. But we still have a black hole here. Even if I took all the depositors' money, which we can't or shouldn't do, we don't have enough to cover it. And the fact that it's a loan, we still don't have enough to cover it. Now, if John Doe does not pay his loan back, now what? We're insolvent instantly. This is craziness. All right, I get upset by this, but you guys know this is why we always had plans. This is why we always stay away from giving our money to people that do not have to return it. Here we go. George's Charles, the average person is screwed and don't have the luxury of pulling their money out. Exactly. Exactly right. Eric, is this the start of the recession when banks start going under? Exactly. In fact, this is 1929 to 1932, ladies and gentlemen, except back then, the FDIC or the Fed, they may not have had enough money. Let's just put it that way. We are going to run out of money, but here we print money now. They don't care anymore. They don't care if they blow up inflation and everything costs more. I went to the grocery store today. I went down the aisle. I like Tostitos. So I went down the aisle. I saw the party bag of Tostitos. My eyes was just like, does that really say $6.99? I was like, $7 for a bag of chips. I couldn't believe it. Just this little stuff like this. I'm just sitting there like, okay, let me go down here to Mission because I used to get a party bag of Mission chips too. And then I went down there and they were like, oh, for the nice chips here, it's $7.29. I was just like, this can't be right. For stuff you used to buy for $3.99, $3.59, $4. It's now double damn near. It's incredible. It is double, actually. This is craziness on just little stuff. I was like, oh, and then I went to go get my veggies, and even veggies are damn near, they are double. I'm just like, this is out of hand. Vanessa Comagate is here. The seamless genius is in the house with the icon next to her name. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And she brings the tagline this evening. Hey, Boston SSN fam, happy Monday. Happy Monday to you. And since it's Money Making Monday and it's March 13th, middle of the month, let me know, how is the experiment going for the first quarter of 2023? I know it was going well. You told me about a week or two back. But does this mean you're going to be re-upping for the next 3-month slot to get us into the summertime with your Airbnb of mall situation? Let me know. This would be very, very interesting because now you've been in 6 months. You've had the people there for 6 months. And now you're going to try to expand maybe after this. We'll find out. I hope this opens the eyes to people how the system works in the USA. Exactly, Vanessa Comagate, seamless genius. This is how it works in the USA. Save the top 10 percenters the best way you can because, hell, they have the most money. They own 70% of the wealth in America. They're the ones doing startup companies. They're the ones that's out here lying and telling people, oh, this works, but I'm going to push a truck downhill. And then we'll tell everybody it's actually running, but everybody who's involved, we're not going to tell anybody we pushed it down the hill or nothing. We'll just let the CEO go out here and sell shares of stock and act like everything is great and get investors. Where'd that money go after it blew up? All this stuff. Hello, SSN Nation. Jarway J is in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. Very, very nice to see you. Saw you on the Larimar stream with Gwen. Thank you so much. All right, Eric, now you all know why I pull my money out from bank to invest in real estate, Punta Cana pre-construction. Best recession-proof place, exactly. I agree with you 110%. But then again, George's Charles, you're relatively new, a member of the channel over the last 6 months, 7, 8 months. I can't remember the exact time. But for the last 2-3 years, we've been talking about do not keep money in the bank. Laverne Pennick said, I've taken the advice and keeping it out. That's what it should be. Duffel bag of cash. Set it aside, ladies and gentlemen. Inflation is going to eat you up unless you're able to get something on the other side. I'll take 1 or 2 years, 2.5 years, and I'll take the hit. But as long as, like George's Charles says, as long as I have my real estate in motion, and we're getting something to come in, I'll beat the inflation every time, because this just means inflation is going to get higher. I don't really care that today. I heard it. I said it. You don't see solvent banks unless you want to control certain funds. Choke point 2.0. But Professor Auntie Val on point once again, ladies and gentlemen. Exactly. This is exactly. And I was coming to this point that she's mentioning right now. Why do you think the Federal Reserve took the money and seized this bank? Why this bank seizure? It would be very interesting to know who some of their clients and venture capitalist companies and firms are, wouldn't it? The startups and all that, wouldn't it? Because basically you own them. Yes, I like this thought process here. This is exactly why they did it. This is the other evil genius plan of the Federal Reserve and the government. They are literally actually trying to own everything. This is what they're doing. No surprise. No surprise here at all. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, you have to be your own bank. I know there's some people right now that are in the gold and silver and precious metal industry, right? Here's the problem that I got to bring up here with you fellas who are in the gold, silver. If the bank goes broke, you have gold, silver, you're going to have to barter, right? But here's the little other side to the coin. As long as there are other banks, which you know, the Fed banks, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, they're too big to fail. They're never going broke. They'll always have dollars. So therefore, while you're running around with some gold pieces and silver pieces trying to barter and people are looking at you like you're crazy, how do I know this stuff is real? And what's the value of this exactly? You're telling me it's like $30 or $25 for silver. You're telling me this ounce right here is worth like $1,800, $1,900. Well, now you're going to need some change. Somebody's going to need some change for when you're doing these transactions. Most people do not have this change, and most people don't even realize what they're holding when they see a 5-cent silver piece is thinking it's 5 cents. It says it right here. So all I'm trying to say is that is not money when you really look at it, because people are still going to say, where's the dollars? That's the problem here. Crypto, people aren't saying where's the dollars. People are saying, see, this is why I'm in crypto. But don't get it twisted. Crypto's doing similar type shady stuff as well. People are printing out extra tokens, extra coins, creating all this crap. So don't get it overly twisted about just because the banks go down, that means other currencies are going to be better. All right, George's Charles, my money is literally growing with the appreciation of my properties. Don't have to worry about the bank. There we go, George's Charles. This is how you be your own bank. You're controlling the assets. Nobody can take it away from you, and you're not in the United States either. This is another thing. Again, ladies and gentlemen, remember when we started this all off, if you've been here for the last 3 years, you know why I started talking about Dominican Republic. Remember when I said, well, I've said a few things, but one thing is, you know, you live in a third world country. You just don't know it yet. Remember when I said you might have a banks that you might not be able to get your money out of? Remember when I said they might shut down your passports, IDs, restrictions? You might not be able to leave the country and all kind of crazy. Remember when I said you don't want to keep your money in a bank? Like Laverne Penix reminded me. Now, remember when I said you might want to have property close by, just in case you can't leave by plane, that you say, no worries. I'm on the East Coast. Who's going over to Dominican Republic? I still have my passport. I still have my IDs. So I'm still rolling on a boat. When we get there, I have property there. We're good. USA? Cool. I'll use pesos now. Simple. Change to a banks in there, in that country. So again, you have to set yourself up because you have to see the writing on the wall. This isn't going to get any different. This is 1929 to 1932. Everything's going according to plan, except one little thing that happened today, and it made me a little nervous. The mortgage interest rate dropped a few points on banks being taken over. How does that work? These are loan mortgage-backed securities is what they're using to prop up their balance sheets. How is this even a thing? Oh, this is craziness. This is just craziness. Yahweh J. Eric, if you remember Washington Mutual Bank, same thing happened. Yes, exactly. Exactly. 2008. I was a member of Washington Mutual Bank. That's right. Exactly. And now to SVB. Exactly. And Signature. And there'll be another. There's a third bank too. I just can't remember which one it is right now. Victor Morel says USDC regained its peg. Don't think we have seen the end of the SVB and Signature Banks fiasco. There is a strategic reason for saving Silicon Valley tech companies. It's called competing with China. There you go. It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things. I just use the simplest thing of all. The top 1%ers, I told you guys, the top 10%ers don't lose. They always look out for themselves. These are the same people that are giving money to Congress people, the Federal Reserve. They're making, look at Silicon Bank. They have a federal board member from the Federal Reserve is on their board. This is this type of, he gets checks from this, right? Millions of dollars a year just for being on the board. This stinks. This is ridiculous. And you think America's actually not like a communist country? Come on. Time to wake up, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what more you need. First, you have somebody trying to overthrow a government. He's not in jail, nor his followers, nor are the senators and congressmen. Then you have somebody out here saying, we don't really care. We're just going to blow up everything with our bank. We don't care because we know that we have a Fed chair on our board. So we know we're going to be saved out. We'll be bailed out. Plus, we know these startups and tech companies, they've contributed millions over the years to government officials. So they come in and take over. But in the meanwhile, they're wink, wink, nod, nod. Oh, by the way, you can keep those stocks you sold right before this happened a few weeks ago. Yeah, there's no penalty. Just keep those millions. All this stuff is disgusting, ladies and gentlemen. Who are they watching out for? Definitely not you. Exactly. Competing with China, probably, because this has something to do with that as well. Because now they're going, all these startup companies that came in Johnny come lately, because they didn't want to get on the bandwagon and produce things here in America, and they wanted to just bypass China. I don't know how you can bypass China when they have the cheapest labor force on the planet, damn near. And so now you want to catch up. 5G, where is it? Can't catch up. Meanwhile, these guys had 5G the whole time, all over their country. I'm just like, this stuff is just ridiculous, just insane. All right. James Way is in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. Thank you so much for being here. And yes, it's getting disgusting out here. James Way with the icon next to his name. He says his tagline, the rent is too damn high. It won't pay itself. Exactly. Good evening, all. Exactly right. It won't pay itself. And you can't borrow your way to pay it either. And James Way, thank you so much for saying this and being here in the house. I greatly appreciate it with the icon. This place is insane. Exactly. Exactly. It's insane. Eric, congrats. We are neighbors. Make sure you get your discount. Remember? Exactly. I got to find out what they're talking about. So far, we haven't reached that numbers. They haven't said anything. They're acting coy. They're acting like they don't want to give up anything, but we'll find out how that works out. Silvergate, thank you so much, Professor Auntie Val. That's the other one. Silvergate, SVB Signature Bank, all had shenanigans and one thing in common. They held 80% of all crypto transactions. Professor Auntie Val's on it. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't even know this. This is crazy. Banks now asking people looking to bank if they invest in crypto. See, we knew this was going to happen. We knew this was going to happen. Thank you, Auntie Val. She's been studying this. She's been in the mix. Congratulations, Eric, on Larimar. Hard choice to make on those two units. Are they both same distance to the main amenities? Yes, they are the same distance. Okay, well, to me, they're the same distance. Who cares about 150 feet or whatever, right? 200 feet. And it depends on which way you're talking. If you're talking about going to the boardwalk, you exit the building according to schematics on the side of the building. So it looks to be maybe 30 yards, you'll be to the gate to where you go into the boardwalk area, or 20 yards back, you'll be at the pool. And if you're in the back, as soon as you come out, you're at the pool. and then you're closer to the other amenities, maybe parking garage or gymnasium, whatever's behind the building, you're going to be closer that way. So actually, you don't lose either way, in my opinion, except something to consider. There's a $15,000 difference. Is that 15? 118.9, 133.9. So that's 115, 134, $14,000 difference. Is it worth it to have full on ocean view or just partial ocean view and then looking over the pool? Let me know what we're talking about. Did you say it's 15K difference, same payment plan? Yes, 15K, 14K actually. I thought it was 15, but as it turns out, it's 14. But either way, could be 15, 14. But yes, there's a 15K difference, same payment plan. Yes, exactly. Auntie Val, wow, interesting. Yes, I didn't even know that. I didn't know that at all. Yes, ma'am. The government tells you exactly what they plan to do. You just have to open your eyes, hide in plain sight. Exactly. That's the best thing to do. Hide in plain sight. That's how we do it. That's how they do it, ladies and gentlemen. Vanessa Comagate, I thought I told you they want to offer us a space. Oh no, you didn't tell us other than you said other people wanted to get in, but oh, you mean a space like an official space as in square footage space. So you'll be part of the mall, not just a kiosk. Okay, I don't think so. A space means people have to enter in through your door, whereas a kiosk, people are walking by. I like the kiosk, and it's probably cheaper too. We decline. The ladies like the card. I figured they would because they get to interact. They can say, "Hey, how you doing? What do you think about this?" Hey, you can do a little bit more sales versus what are you going to do? Stand outside your store and try to talk to people, which is always annoying, right? When there's a store there, you're like, if I was interested in going in here, I would go in here. But when you see the kiosk as you're walking by and you're expecting to look at the kiosk, it's a different mindset. At least I have a different mindset. Victor Morero, everyone should have received an email from your respective bank stating whether or not they had any exposure to SVB or Signature Bank. I received it today. So far, so good. No exposure. Yes, all the banks said no exposure so far. I'm expecting, well, most banks I deal with aren't involved with startup companies. They're not involved with, and let's just call it tier ones, right? Some of us are involved with tier one. Some of us are involved with credit unions. So that's pretty much where you got to go. And I used to be against, like, again, I'm against Wells Fargo. I'm against Bank of America. They're off the list permanently for life. I don't bank with these guys, period, no matter what they send me. No return. And US Bank as well. There's three banks. They're off limits for life. Eric, so are you in Tower 1? You got oceanfront view. George's Charles, Tower 2. Tower 2, man. If like I said, I'm still trying to figure out this. I haven't done it. He sprung it on me on the live tonight. So I didn't even know. He just told me on the live. He goes, "Hey man, I got the unit 1101 Tower 2. If you want it." And I said, "Hold on, man. I didn't even realize." I would say I'm kind of like, I like 1410 because it overlooks the pool and you have ocean view. Partial it is. But I said either way, I get to market that instead of just straight ocean view, I get to market, hey, overlooks the pool and you got partial ocean view. I said, hold on, $14,000 less. Let's see what the numbers say. I haven't been able to do anything about it. Vanessa Comagate, I'm sure the ladies make money in the carts. Oh yeah. So are the ladies re-upping? You're getting new ladies, you're getting more carts. What's your plan? That this seemingly is going well. It's seemingly working. So you've done a 6-month plan coming up. It'll be 6 months at the end of this month. Auntie Val, they do well and they like the simplicity, and so do I. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. It's very, very easy. Victor Morel, agree with Auntie Val. This may be the precursor for the government crypto coin coming. Yeah, it's coming. Imagine if social benefits were giving in crypto. Oh, BTC, ETH, BNB exploded today. Yeah, I expect them to have an upswing. But the question is, are they any better than the banks, really? Crypto has been no better than the banks. They're still out here charging you for fees, even higher than the banks. They are giving out loans and doing the same thing, staking and all this stuff, and they're imploding. So I'm just like, and do we even know if they're printing extra tokens or coins? Again, there's no rules or regulations. So how do we even know what the ramifications would be if something goes to this other CDC type of coin situation? Vanessa Comagate, Auntie Val, they do well and they like the simplicity. Okay, I missed something. All right. So what do you have? A 2-bed? Yes, of course. That's all you can have. You have to have a 2-bedroom, man. You don't have to, but I'm just saying, that's the preferred choice. It's enticing to get a 1-bedroom for $90K, but if you get a 1-bedroom, you might as well get a studio at Cruise on Land for 60 G's, 54,000 if you're going to do something like that. Even though somebody here in the SSN Nation mentioned TMG was discussing that he's probably going to get a unit at Larimar. He's getting a 1-bedroom up front, the last ocean view up front. I try to stay away from 1-bedrooms. Auntie Val, yes, Victor, Fed now, coming in a few weeks. That's the one, CBDC, sooner than we think. It's almost like it's weird. It's really weird. You know why it's really weird is because the banks, out of all the banks in the world, phone calls to the banks of the world, you would have thought somebody would have said, okay, we're going to come in with the debt facility and help you out. And then the FDIC in the background and the federal government would have said, okay, we're going to backstop you. But I guess the Fed said, no, we're taking over. So very, very interesting. Notice how it worked. All right. Yes, they are renewing. To be honest, I've been busy with another project. Of course, Seamless Genius, the entrepreneur life, got to be busy with several projects. This is very, very true. Ooh, do tell. Exactly. Look at this. The entrepreneur ladies are in the house doing all kind of things. You got to love it, ladies and gentlemen. All right. You got to love it. All right. Hold on. I got to do some checking on something myself here in the house. All right. So we're all good. Let's see here. Auntie Val, I'm always in the lab with my white jacket, sis. Exactly. We're always in the lab. That's what I call what I do. Yeah, I'm in the lab. All right, Eric, your decision, but I would pick the one with view to the pool. Reason? This is a rental business. Families want to be close to the pool, especially with kids. Plus, your view is day and night. There you go. See, Victor Marrero, exactly. See, Victor Marrero's been renting a while, and he knows exactly the same type of questions, he probably knows questions. The same type of questions. He knows exactly what happens. This is why when 1410, as I had to tell what's his name, I said, hold on now, I haven't made that decision because being able to overlook the pool, that does have something. And like Victor Morel says, nighttime, yes, you can see the lights, you can see the ocean view. Daytime, yes, you can see the lights, ocean view. But again, I am not I'm not one of these absolute 110% guys that go, hey, I got to see the ocean when I'm there. And nor does any rentals dictate that either, because as long as a person, you can tell a guest or somebody that's staying at your place, as long as you can tell them they have partial ocean view, they're pretty much happy. That's all they care about. And keep in mind, partial ocean view is from 5 miles or 6 miles away from the ocean, however far the distance is. So partial ocean view and overlooking the pool, Victor Morel is exactly right. So therein lies the problem, Victor Morel. For $15,000, $14,000 less, you overlook the pool and have partial ocean view, and even a higher floor too. But I don't know if a higher floor is really that good. 14 floors, pretty high. I don't even know how high 14 floors is. I was trying to figure out in the Philippines. I stayed up high, but I can't remember how many floors that was. But after I started thinking about it, I said 14 floors may not be that big, but it might be. So we'll see. But I agree with you, Victor Morel, about the kids. I agree with you because we all, well, in case you guys don't rent, I've said it this many times. This is part of the real estate investing course, which we don't have. But there's a thing where people call me up and they say, for instance, even if they're staying at a beach, they will say, do you have ocean view? Yes or no? No, don't have ocean view. Okay. Does my unit overlook the pool? That's top 5, generally top 5. Because I don't know about you. You guys go on vacation. How many times I'm not one to sit at the pool? That's not my thing. But what is amazing is if you get up at 6 or 7 a.m. in the morning, you'll see people leaving their towels down, leaving some stuff down where they're reserving to sit at the pool. I'm sitting there like, okay, there's a beach here and you're reserving the pool at 6, 7, 8 a.m. in the morning just so you can sit at the pool and drink. That's a thing. No matter which island I go to, that's a thing. People are up early to get seats, and I just go to the pool, put my hands in it, and I'm like, I don't understand. What are you guys doing? This is kind of crazy. You're just sitting here all day, 3, 4 hours, 5 hours. I don't get it. What did you come here for? That doesn't make sense to me. Vanessa Comagate, tell them again. We'll tell them again. I'm always in the lab with my white jacket, sis. That's right. We're always in the lab, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Vanessa Comagate, tell them again. All right. Well, let's get into this a little bit deeper, shall we? Because Silvergate, which is the one I couldn't remember, there was 3 banks. There's going to be a 4th and a 5th and a 6th. Okay, first of all, the Federal Reserve, it's like they're involved with other banks. So there's going to be other things in the background that these guys are all going to work together, because guess nobody's going to take the full 100% exposure on this. Let's just call it what it is. That would be pretty stupid. I wouldn't do it. I don't think anybody here would either. Take the full exposure on loans that you don't even know nothing about. And all they're telling you is, oh, well, we have these mortgage-backed loans, but they don't mature for 5 years or 10 years or whatever the hell. And you're just sitting there like, okay, but they're not worth anything right now. You're over-leveraged. You are negative. Crazy, 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 crazy. Crazy. Boss is being shady to the pool crashers. Exactly. Hey, I don't really care one way or another, but I just find it interesting that I'm sitting here over in, it doesn't even matter where I'm at. I'm over in St. Martin, and I'm staying at like, no matter wherever, Oyster Bay Beach Club. I get up. Now I get up normal, 8, 9, because I'm on vacation, right? I'm on island time. And I get up and I see the pool area and I see towels and I see the whole pool is full. People are sitting in loungers and sunning, and it's full. And I'm like, okay, I'm going downtown. I'm going to wherever. I'm going to wherever to go have some fun. But I just find it very, very interesting. No matter where I stay on islands, it doesn't matter. I'm in Waikiki, same thing. I'm in Maui, same thing. It doesn't even matter where. It's the same damn thing. And I just find that very, very interesting, because most people that travel generally have a pool in their area, if not in their backyard. So if you're going to travel halfway, well, not halfway, but if you're going to travel thousands of miles just to go sit at the pool, you could have sat at a pool in a 5 to 10 mile radius if you don't have a pool in your backyard. So I don't understand. I'm just like, this is kind of crazy. But yes, I am being a little shady. Or the beach crashers. Oh, the beach crashers. Well, beach crashers I have no problem with. I just have a problem with when I'm in Mexico and the guys are like aggressive with the what do you want to buy something thing. But it's kind of crazy. You're right, though. I noticed that when we went to Cabo last year. Exactly. Cabo too. Same thing. Same thing. Cabo down there, people are just like 6 a.m. in the morning. I'm just like, literally, I'm sitting there. I'm telling you, 7, 6, 7, 8 in the morning. I'm sitting there like, this can't be. You traveled all the way from where you live to go reserve a spot at the pool. I'm like, we live in America. They're from America. There's pools in most communities. There's a pool. This is crazy. But yeah, I'm hating a little bit. But it doesn't bother me because I'm not one to even worry about staying at the pool. I don't stay at pools. Good evening, SSN fam from Curtis Davis. He's in the house. Mr. Financial, does he shed any light on this SVB Silvergate? and Signature Bank situation. He has the icon next to his name. So welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And he's here. Mr. Financial is Curtis Davis. And he also has another pseudonym, Chili Davis, Chilly. That's right. Chili Davis is in the house. He has a YouTube channel that you need to go subscribe and click the all notification bell because he's part of the SSN Nation. He shows you love, ladies and gentlemen. No guru zone. That's what we like here, helping people. And he gives information, financial information throughout the day and evening, and even sometime late night. He drops some gems that can help you make financial decisions. So you got to show some love and hit that all notification bell when you subscribe to his channel, please. Show some love. Vanessa Kamagate. Laughing. Hey, it's been happening for years, though. It doesn't even matter. I mean, literally, no matter where I stay at, it's always a thing. It's always a thing. Because generally my unit overlooks the pool. I'd be in Palm Beach Shores. I'll go hang out by Professor Auntie Val, Palm Beach Shores near Singer Island. I go over there. Unit sits in front of the pool. Well, it's a U shape. So whoever has a unit on the inside, you have overview of the pool. Sure enough, 7:30 in the morning, damn near 90% of the pool has towels on their chairs. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy. And the beach is literally 100 feet. 50 yards. I'll say 50 yards. So 50 yards away is the beach. But they're putting towels on a pool area. Crazy, 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 crazy. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Wherever I'm at by the beach, the pool, what did she call them? Pool crashers. Is that what it's called? Actually, I didn't even know there was a name. Pool crashers. If that's their name, it's out of control. Doesn't matter where I'm at, what island, Waikiki, doesn't matter. I'm trying to think of all the islands that I've been to. It doesn't matter. It's all the same. It doesn't matter. Even if I go to the big island of Australia, doesn't matter. People are still, it's like ridiculous. And most of the time, all these places, I'm literally staying right by the beach. Literally. Not like I'm 2 miles away or a mile away. I'm like, you walk out the resort, the beach is like within the 50-yard radius. 50 to 100 yards is the beach. It's right there. But people are still reserving towels I'm like, what are you doing? This is crazy. All right. Enough of that. Having a little fun with that. SVB problem may be the beginning. Signature Bank, First Republic Bank is the other added bank. All undercapitalized. They all hold 4-year treasury notes with negative equity. Exactly. Hedge funds or target all banks. Exactly. And some of the venture capital. The problem with SV Bank is they were the go-to bank for the venture capitalists. But the thing is, there's a lot of things going on, ladies and gentlemen, that most people don't realize. There's other things like, how about this? Let me ask you something. If a friend came up to you and they said, hey, I'm starting a business and I've started a business. We're a startup company and I need like $1 million, right? And then they said to you, and you said as the bank, your SVB bank, and you say, well, I don't know about giving you money, but you're going to have to do all your banking with us. So now I'm a startup. I'm just starting out. I run a little business. I need some venture capital money. I need some other investors. So you have my banking business. So now I have $10 million come in from investors, VCs. Guess what bank? It's going into SVB. So even though I have a loan with these guys, I have to hold my money or portions of some monies with these guys. So now if the bank is going down, not only do they have my deposit or my VC money, my startup money on lock, now I don't have that credit facility or that loan facility available to me. They're both locked. And this other thing I call BS on, if they try to withdraw their money, part of the 10 million from the VCs and all this other money they put in, because that's how they're able to get the loans and get lines of credit, their loans and lines of credit will be reduced if they take money out. So they had to leave the money in. So it's a catch-22. There's all this other stuff going on that people don't realize. There's shady shenanigans that's going on. This isn't just a simple, hey, I got a loan from these guys. It's not that easy, ladies and gentlemen. And this is why the FDIC and the government had to swoop in on this one. This isn't your ordinary bank. All right. These aren't ordinary banks in ordinary situations. These guys are doing leverages upon leveraging. So the bank is sitting there giving them money that they've already loaned and borrowed themselves. Then the other people from the startups are getting investors' money, which they've probably borrowed. So you've leveraged all this stuff in one little pot area. This is why the government said, we ain't letting all our friends go down like this. Just like the girl that was on CNBC talking about she got out $30 or $40 million. This is what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. Just pay attention. All right. And luckily you guys are hearing the SSN Nation and you guys are hearing it from me. And you guys are probably thinking like, Eric's crazy. This doesn't even sound right. Exactly. It doesn't sound right. But that's what's going on. Now you understand why I always said, don't keep your money in the damn bank. All right. Now, I will say this. I just got a JP Morgan, even though Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, Bank of America, they are a Fed bank as far as I'm concerned. There's only one Fed bank, Chase. That's one bank that pretty much stays on the side that you need to stay on. Sure, they take risk, but these guys do something different. So when Jamie Dimon and those guys said, you know what, we're going to buy gold and silver. We're going to stack it up because we know what's coming. See, that's smart move, right? Very smart move. These guys go, well, there's no crypto. We don't care about crypto. I think it's bogus for the 8 years. And all of a sudden in the last 3 years, he's like, oh, man, since there was a crash, let's go pick this stuff up right now. Let's go do this now. See, I like how they operate. They're operating within the confines and not taking these high risk maneuvering. So let's just call it what it is. They're able to get money anytime they want as well. But they're not sitting here doing real crazy stuff, even though I'm sure in the background they're doing something crazy. Yes, SVB, a conflict of interest. You must hold deposits to get 10 million loan. Exactly, Curtis Davis. Exactly. This is funny as hell. It's funny as hell. Here, I'm giving you a loan, but hey, you got to do all your banking right here. And the VCs are bringing the money in. And now that's depositors' money. But who cares about depositors' money? We'll use it all. We don't care. Crazy, 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 crazy. It's crazy. You have 10 million deposits and 10 million loan or line of credit or credit cards. U.S. should have stepped in. There you go. But the Ponzi scheme that they were creating, again, ladies and gentlemen, let's just keep things in perspective. That a lot of this mumbo jumbo. I was on Twitter Spaces listening to all these VCs, all these capital guys talking, and I'm just like, stop the mumbo jumbo. This is very, very simple. If I have $40 billion as a bank, I can go anywhere around the world, another bank, and say, hey, can I borrow against my assets? Because my assets is 40 billion under in our bank deposits. Part of that is a few billion because some people have to hold their money in here to give them a loan. So now I've upped the value. So I go, okay, but it's worth 40 billion, but you don't really know that maybe 20 billion of it is VC money and all this other stuff coming in because we're telling people we're giving them loans. But the reason why they can give them loans, they can go out here and borrow money against their assets. How much? 5 billion, 8 billion, 10 billion? Now, that money that they just borrowed, that's borrowed money from another institution. So now if I am not liquid, which I'm still not liquid now, not only have I borrowed from the other institution, not only am I holding depositors' money, and I've already leveraged all that out, I am overdrawn in essence. I'm negative. So there's nothing that can be done. So if this bank goes down, those guys aren't getting their 10 billion. Straight up. So they got to protect these guys. That's why the government stepped in, because the VC guys and other banks and the top 1%ers, that's their company, their banks, their business. They're like, no, we're not going to let this guy lose 10 billion. And we're not going to let you lose 40 billion because part of that goes to our other buddies over here that's doing startup companies, and they have hundreds of millions of dollars that we loan them. So we're not going to let all this go. But unfortunately, all the money is fake. It's fake. It's not even real because they're not even backed by any real assets. In reality, they're just backed by because I'm able to get money under management, just similar to a hedge fund. Same kind of thing. Basically, what Elon Musk has been doing with his stocks with Tesla, he borrows against it and go buys companies. If those companies fold, then that money is out of thin air, but the Pied Piper has to be paid because that money that he borrowed, that has to be paid back to somebody. So either you lose it or you bail them out. Take your pick. Crazy stuff. Crazy, crazy, crazy. The venture capitalists acting like the startups were free to bank anywhere. Exactly. Chase, only guys who stepped in 70 bill to First Republic Bank are PacWest Commercial, Hawaiian Bank, all toast or no real help. All bank stocks down 15 to 25%. That's right. They have to pick the winner. Again, they've leveraged. Think about it. You leverage something 5 to 10 times. You can't do them all. The first guys are fine. You go, okay, I leveraged that $1 billion. You guys gave me out of my 40 billion of deposits. That's depositors' money. You gave me $10 billion. Then I turn around and loan 10 people $1 billion each, let's say. So now you find out I'm going to go down and I can't pay back the billions that I got. I'm using depositor stuff like I'm supposed to as a bank and loan out the money. And now these people that are borrowing, they're not going to be getting any more money. It's a domino effect. This is why the government has to step in on the first part. They have to give all these guys their money so then they can make sure the other guys can get their money. But how deep does it go? It's quadrillions of debt out here because it's borrowing against assets that don't even really exist in reality. Money in a bank, hedge funds holding money, that's not really an asset in reality, but they're treating it as such. That's people's money that they should be able to withdraw at any time. The fact that I can borrow against that, the people are getting their money back. So where am I going to get this billions of dollars to pay them back? Well, I have to do high risk. I'm going to have to do, let me give money to a startup. They said that they're going to earn this amount. They're going to go on IPO in 3 years. We're going to get mortgage-backed securities. Okay, that's good for another 6, 7, 8%. We're going to get bonds 4%, 3%, 5% annually. We should be good until you're not good. This is craziness, ladies and gentlemen. Craziness. Our banking system is a socialist society allowing these people to leverage. This collateral loan or assets are not new to SSN Academy. Exactly. Derivatives, ladies and gentlemen. Just like we're talking about a derivative right now. We have a house, condo, villa. We were talking about businesses as well, where you have inventory. The same rules will apply. It's an asset. I can borrow against my assets, but there's a difference. If I borrow against my equipment, they come in and say, hey, Eric, your equipment's worth $200,000, but due to depreciation, we'll give you a loan, but it can only be like $30,000 for us to feel comfortable. Okay, because they know I'm going to have to sell the equipment. We have real estate. They know the real estate is valued at $1 million. You say, okay, can I get like $200,000? They go, okay, we feel comfortable with that because we know even if it loses 50% of the value, we can still sell this thing and get our $200,000 back. So it's backed by actual tangible goods. But as soon as I change it into paper, a derivative, when I sell that note, right? I sell that note just like a house note. You sell the house. That has a value to it. Somebody I just gave a loan to for $500,000. Okay. Somebody says, I don't want to wait 30 years for this guy to pay me back. Who'll give me $100,000 right now? That person gives you $100,000. That guy's still on the hook. The previous person gets laid off, doesn't pay. Well, I'm not giving you back your $100,000. And now you're going to lose $400,000 because he's going to default unless somebody's going to pay you that money in foreclosure. So there's a way to get your money back. So that we can live with. But what we can't live with is a now I am using that piece of paper and I tell somebody, hey man, I just bought this $500,000 note. Can you give me 300,000 for it? And the guy says, yes, I'll give you 300. So now one guy has $100,000 note. Another guy has a $300,000 note. Now all of a sudden you go to the bank and you say, hey, we had 20% year over year for the last 2 years. This piece of paper, this house is worth 700, 800,000. Will you give me 500,000? So now you have 100,000, a 400,000, and a $500,000 loan, and it's a freaking $500,000 house. That's what we do in America. That's what we're doing here in America, ladies and gentlemen. Leverage upon leverage upon leverage. Sooner or later, you're going to have to pay the piper. No way around it. No way around it. All right. Hopefully, you guys can understand what I'm saying without doing anything on the screen. This collateral loan or assets are not new to the SSN Academy. Exactly. Derivatives. Biden saying no taxpayer will pay this bailout, but we will pay through an inflation. Okay. Enough. There is no money. There's no money. There's no money. This is insanity. We know, okay, United States government can print money out of thin air. That creates inflation. All right? Taxpayers are going to have to pay this back because the government doesn't really make any money. They're negative. This doesn't even make sense. How could this is exactly why they don't want people that have any inkling of how the United States government works, because then you would know this. If Biden said this nonsense right here, this is a joke. This is a joke, because the same guys running the asylum, that's the only way they get money is from taxpayers. Taxpayers are going to pay this one way or another, whether you're a depositor or whether you're going to be paying it in the form of tax. There's just no way around it. Government doesn't make money. I'm like, what are we talking about here? This is insanity. That's crazy talk. Only 3% to 10% physical dollars in circulation. The rest money, all fake. Debt, contracts, debt equals money. Exactly. Your dollar bill is debt. That's why the physical dollars is one thing. The actual dollars, the derivatives is another. And this is why we're in trouble. Yes, our banks don't mess around with over leveraging. We also stress test our system and model for crazy scenarios like this. We're old school. Give you below 0.05% interest. Your money is safe. Exactly. See, this is exactly right. I mean, it's kind of funny, but this is exactly right. They're not going to go out here and say, hey, we're going to give you 4 or 5% on your money. The reason why they're not going to do this is exactly what Victor Morell's talking about. This is exactly why certain banks, they're always going to be ahead of the game. They're going to be able to be like vultures. Just pick up, hey, yeah, I'll get your depositors' money because that's no risk to me. But I ain't taking your loans. I'll get your depositors' money. Well, we'll make them a depositor of our bank. That's not an issue. Similar to the Washington Mutual situation, right? That's not a problem. But we're not going to take over that debt that you're talking about. You're going to have to get somebody else to handle that. You're going to have to go with junk bonds or something. Curtis Davis, yes, appreciation is money. You just have to balance it with collateral. Yes, but what is collateral when I can use the same piece of paper to get more money than what the value of the property and the value of what has been borrowed? Like in that scenario, we would get over $1 million, all of us, because the asset, which is the real estate, went up in value by a couple $100,000. We'd be able to get $1 million in derivatives on paper, borrowed it, be in the streets, spending that $1 million, but that house is still worth 500. And if all of us default on our loan, we got $1 million of default, and the house is only worth 500 or 700 actually. So we're negative $3 million. It's crazy. It's crazy. It shouldn't even be allowed. But this is how you actually create millionaires. Curtis Davis, in the end, 200K appreciation for 500K is not real. So we are faking the assets as 300K or 700K. Exactly. Exactly. It's all fake. I told the guys in the space thing, I said, this is all fake. I mean, I don't even care what you guys are saying. You can do this mumbo jumbo nonsense. That's all you're doing. It's all fake. I don't really care. I don't understand what you're telling me, because the VCs have money, the banks have money, but the money is all borrowed money, which is over leveraged. And leveraging upon leveraging means you have fake money in the system. And if somebody doesn't pay their share in one of the chains, the whole chain goes down. And that's what we're having here. That's why there's going to be contagion. Just like FTX, there has to be contagion. Just like this, there has to be contagion, because once you take one down, the other. But the bank was taken over by the FDIC because they already saw that preemptive strike. They're just like, wait, if these guys go down, look who else goes down with them. All of our buddies. That's billions of dollars gone, wiped out. And that's to the top 10 percenters, not the bottom 50%. They would care less if the bottom 50% was at Joe Schmo Bank. They'd be like, oh, you only have a $250,000 cap. That's all we're going to do. In fact, we don't have enough money in the FDIC fund to handle this. So you guys are going to get pennies on the dollar. That's how they do it. But as soon as it comes up with their billionaire boyfriends, all of a sudden they have no issues. We'll just take over and no problem. You have all the capital and funding you need. It's disgusting. All right, enough. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to keep going on and on about it, but I think you guys get the gist of the situation, because this is ridiculous. Let me yeah. I'm looking for something else, because there was something that they had under the pro that I can't find now. It was being, I was like, is this for real? Okay, let me see if I can find this real quick. Let me see. Crypto just lost both of its main banks. Here's what it means for the industry going forward. That's interesting. Yikes. Signature had 40 branches, assets of 110 billion, deposits of 88 billion at the end of 2022, according to their regulatory filing. Okay. That led to the pressure on Signature, First Republic, and other names late last week on fears that uninsured deposits could be locked up or lose value, either of which could be fatal to startups. They're still worrying about startups. Startups are a risk in itself. 99 out of 10 startups fail. I mean, this is crazy. But they have millions of dollars in loans with no revenue coming in. Unbelievable. The bank, though, Signature Bank, I didn't know this. 24/7 payments network for crypto clients, and had 16.5 billion in deposits from digital asset related customers. Well, the bank stock hasn't really. Jesus, really? Oh, Signature went from $3.49 down to $70 now. That's a big drop in tax and stock money. All right. Well, New York Signature Bank taken over by state government, FDIC, to protect depositors' assets. So the question is going to start being, how much money does Federal Depository, FDIC, how much money do they actually have? Does anybody really know how much they have? Because they don't have enough to cover all this, really. Not enough. All right. Let's see. We're also fighting depositors from small local bank to regional bank to large bank. The depositors moving money can cause havoc. Exactly. That's what's happening. Exactly. What's going down? You were born in France. Guess what? You'll have to wait until 64 to even claim Social Security. President Macron just raised the age from 60 to 64, and people are burning the streets. Exactly. Exactly. Is that wild or what? It's just a matter of time. They're all a Ponzi scheme. You're putting money into something, and you don't know how long somebody's going to live. You're saying, oh, they used to live till 60. Well, no. What if they live till 80 now? Now you're paying and you're giving an annual increase too. It's a bad thing, ladies and gentlemen. All the countries are doing the exact same playbook. They're in the American system. They're doing the same thing. Central banking, leveraging assets, just same thing. Got a bad situation going down. I'm actually surprised that he didn't do something higher than that to match close to the United States. The bankers only show the numbers on quarterly earnings, unless you say the loss not realized. There, JP Morgan, big banks, $1 billion in losses to the book. Exactly. Of course, they have no way to do this. If you really think about it, it's very simple. You have $1 million, depositors' money, but the rules say I can all out, and I can go get loans from other banks and even the Federal Reserve. But we still only had $1 million of depositors' money. We didn't make any money unless we give it out as loans or some way of creating money out of thin air, or some investments, or buying some stocks, or doing something. But that means I have to use depositors' money. So it's a failed system to begin with. It doesn't even make sense. You know there has to be a banking crisis. There's just no way around it. It'd be just like you have $100 in your house. Somebody comes in and says, hey, man, I need $50. I'm borrowing it. Well, you have $50. If the person comes back to you and says, and you're a bank, and comes back to you and says, hey, I need $75 of my 100, you're like, hey, I just loaned this out because this is how we're going to get some credit back. I own $50 of your 75 here. Well, when can I get the other 25? Well, you can't, because we got the guy on a payment plan for the next 10 months. He only owes us like $6, $7 a month. So it's at least going to be 6 months before we even get back to where you're going to have that extra 25. But the bank has no money to pay the employees. It's an ecosystem that makes zero sense. Bank failure should have happened, but that's why the Federal Reserve was implemented to save the economy in 1918 or 20 or whatever. Same thing. They're just saving. And where are they getting the money from? Inflation, ladies and gentlemen. Inflation. They're printing it out there. So that means you're causing inflation. You're reducing the value of the dollar down to 3%, 2% of the 100%. It took 90 years. 90 years. 97%, 98% of the value of the dollar has been lost. So that means everything has to cost more. Not hard to figure out. Not hard to figure out. In simple layman's terms. I don't need mumbo jumbo. I have to have your own. Can't trust the government anymore. Exactly, Vanessa Comagate. Hey, I'm not, like I said, some of us are lucky enough to do multiple jurisdictions. This is why this Punta Cana thing straight up was, like I told you guys from the get-go. First of all, Tim Morrell and everybody knows I was born in France. I told you guys before, the French government already made it official with the United States. They came into an agreement. If I'm a French citizen and I'm married to a non-French citizen, that, well, we'll call it United States citizen for all intents and purposes, because that's just based on U.S. If I'm a French citizen and I marry a United States citizen, the United States can go into France and grab their money out of the French bank account, joint French bank account with the sovereign French citizen. The French government approved it. Not only that, here's the worst part. The United States government and the French agreed that the United States government can get the information on the French citizen. They're banking because they're married to a U.S. citizen. When that happened, well, because I know about it. Most Americans don't know this. That right there told you, what do you think is going to happen ultimately? And then the United States went around the world and told everybody, you need to sign up with us in order to get US dollars. You got to have a banking system in one of the, you have to have a bank in the United States. That's the only way you can deal in the dollar. It's gonna go, you guys are going to have to all sign up. Guess what? You're cut off. Almost every country, but about 8 signed up. Dominican Republic is not one of them. They said, oh, well, we're going to sign up with you guys sooner or later. They haven't officially signed up. So, but that's another one of the reasons why I was like, okay, they haven't signed up. That's cool. So there is none of this U.S. citizen married to the Dominican person, and then they get to jack both of you at the same time if they want to. See? So again, you have to protect yourself out here. Have to protect yourself. Here we go. Professor Auntie Val is throwing in some more knowledge. FDIC only has about 2% of all insured deposits, nowhere near enough to cover a real bank run affecting multiple banks. Exactly. 2% That's outrageous. And one of the things is that's even worse that I feel, I don't know if this is true, but the way I look at it, I look at banking a certain different way. I would say the reason why the FDIC only has 2% is because they know they can go to one of the big boys, B of A, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, and they know that these guys actually have money at their disposal that they can put in the backside that nobody's going to see. That's what I think it is. And that's why it's a travesty. And I don't even know how they even come up with this FDIC, how it, of course it's going to be 2%. Because they're going to print money. That's all they're going to do. Ultimately, if they want to bail something out, they're printing money and they're going to charge the taxpayers. And if Biden said there's no taxpayer money, I don't know what's wrong with that man. Like I said, sometimes you're too old to be in government. And somebody out there bull-faced saying, well, we don't have any money in reality. We're negative $5 trillion. So where do you think the money's coming? I don't get this. How would you say this doesn't even make sense? We have a deficit. We're not even making money under any circumstances. The United States, we are $35 trillion or more in a deficit. And you're sitting here telling me, oh yeah, don't worry about it. We're just going to give them money. We're going to ship stuff to Ukraine. We're going to back all these countries. We're going to ship stuff to Israel. We're going to give them money. I'm just like, yeah, we have net deficits here. This doesn't even make sense. 0 cents. 0 cents. It's disgusting. So again, ladies and gentlemen, this is why you have to watch. Wherever you can go to get the best deal, you better get it. Auntie Val, that's right. Exactly. Yeah, they're going to print more money. Exactly. That's all they're going to do. It's sickening. I missed that one. I thought it was the same one. S&L crisis lasted over 4 years. Rising rates and discount windows closed. It's crazy in 2023. Yeah, because they never fixed the first or the second problem. They just glossed over it. Yes, wow, only 2%. Sheesh. I guess they're just going to print the money. Exactly. That's what they're going to do. Vanessa Comagate. Okay, I missed that one. Yeah, Auntie Val, that's right. Exactly. That's what they're going to do. That's exactly what they're going to do. This is a joke, which causes inflation. And then they go, well, I wonder how we can't keep inflation down. And they're not going to raise interest rates. More inflation. Here we come, boss. Those Tostitos you like will be $12 by the summer. Exactly. Exactly. The party bag. Something that used to be $3.49, $3.99 is now $7.99. I was looking at the thing like, this can't be right. How did we miss 4, 5, 6? How is there 7 up here? I was just like, good grief. And now that I realized it is damn near double from what it was like a year ago or so. We're in trouble, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you somehow get this passive income coming in. You're going to have to do something now. All right? Going to have to do something. I just don't know what that's going to be other than what we've talked about. We put you in position to win, but it's based on an ecosystem. You have to make money. Everything's going to be shut down. Whenever there's a a credit crisis or borrowing crisis, that shuts down the United States economy, along with higher interest rates. The Federal Reserve, okay, 0.25. Let's just call it what it is. They're going to do 0.25. They're not going to do 0.5. They're not going to do 0.7. They're not going to do 1%. Because their buddies here, they would then owe more money on these billions of dollars. Keep that in mind. 0.25 on $100 billion. All of a sudden, that's not chump change. All right, that's not chump change. That's a lot of millions. So somebody's going to have to pay that back, and they're not making money in the first place. So how are they going to pay that back plus any principal amounts? But they'll have interest only. We know this. But the fact of the matter is, we're in deep trouble. Not saying that something's going to happen now, but just remember, you guys here, you knew 1929 and 1932. We talked about all this already. We know what's going on. And the fact that they're failing and doing all this mumbo jumbo stuff, no worries. FDIC is a private corporation, but don't get it twisted. Exactly. Treasury and the Fed shots. Exactly. Professor Antival laying it down direct. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's all that's going to happen. They're going to play their usual here's some bonds. Here's some, we have these mortgage-backed securities over here. They're going to be worth, X $100 billion in 10 years. I'm just like, what the frick? Give me a break with this. Yes, quantitative easing, quantitative tightening, both wreaking havoc. Yeah, they don't have a choice about quantitative tightening. That's all smoke and mirrors. There is no quantitative tightening because they can't. They'll turn off the faucet to their buddies. Then their buddies have nowhere to go. They can't borrow. They can't leverage anymore. So therefore, the only way they can leverage and borrow anymore is they have to show up and be like, hey, I just got $2 billion. And here it is. And the Feds just printed out of thin air. Now that person can go borrow. It's all fake money. It's ridiculous. All right. The government has tough talk. CPI data on the market. All right. Yeah. CPI data that does not include groceries, does not include energy bills. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the 5.9 tomorrow as banks are being taken over and bailed out. And my Tostitos are now like double since last year. This is insanity. Eggs double. I mean, it's insane. I was at the frozen veggie aisle. Organics double. I'm just like, this is getting ridiculous. So ridiculous. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking about this for years. Derivatives. Eric, the $20 trio in debt, and we have not official raised debt ceiling. Oh, man. Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Antival knows. What do you guys? Okay, first of all, that debt ceiling play. The United States, they are. They can't go into a default scenario. They can't go with the credit rating downgrade at this point. If you thought 35 trillion with IOUs to other countries is something, imagine if you're downgraded, your interest rates go up, that you have to pay these other countries back. Imagine that would throw things even more crazier. Oh, this would be like, hold on for 2.5 years or hold on for another year or something. Because once I'm on the island at my own joint, I don't really care. I'm like, I'm not running the show. I'm like, this is insanity. There's an implosion. There has to be, but they won't let it happen. If this was a true capitalist system, they would have let these guys implode. And then what other standing organizations that wanted to take them over and take on their debt or buy their debt and pay the debt, they would have had to come in and do that. Or they would have had to file bankruptcy, sell off all their assets, Whatever's left over, if somebody wants it, then they get it. If not, hasta la vista. That's good for the economy. That way we don't have money printing out of thin air and we don't have to pay for it as taxpayers. That's their thing. You want to play? You want a bomba? You go play. But you don't have to play with us. You're playing with our money right now. We go to the gas station. We go to the grocery stores. We go to pay our energy bills and cell phone bills and all this. This is crazy. This is craziness. So I don't get it. I don't get it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, enough. I guess we've had an hour-long talk. I just had to have this. How does it affect you, though? It affects you. It's going to affect you. Your taxes are going to go higher. The cost of living is going to increase, even simply as next month. I talked about this on Friday. It's March. In about a month or two, it's summer. All prices go up for transportation because gas prices go up in the summer. Pretty simple. So it's going hand in hand. So if transportation cost goes up, that means everything that's part of that supply chain and transportation chain has to go up. So if this is not the end, and on top of that, we're going to have inflation. Sure, I wouldn't be surprised if it was 5.9 or something, because they're going to lie about it just to make it so they don't have to raise interest rates. I would be kind of shocked if they said 7.8 or 7.4 or something. I know it has to be lower because they're not going to say what the real one's going to be, because then they said, well, then they would have to justify. Think about it. If they said 7.5, 6.9 even, maybe 7.5, if they get 7% or something, they can't justify a 0.25 at that point. Right now, they're going to justify a 0.25, but I think it's going to be under 6.1. So, and nobody cares that these banks are insolvent. Nobody cares that the Federal Reserve and the FDIC is coming in and the government's coming in to act like a socialist country. Nobody cares. Just pay more. Eric, that's right. The country debt's so high, we almost can't afford the interest on 35 trillion. Exactly. Our GDP's washed. And these guys are out here playing around. Why are they playing around? Because you're not them. If you had the 50 billion, 50 million, the 25 million, the 5 million, shout out to everybody that has an NFT. Hopefully the Miracle Cash and More works out. And everybody at the end of 5 years, you're going to have maybe $1 million in your pocket. 5 years is a long time if there's an economic downturn, right? So just keep that in mind. Yeah, we can't afford the interest as it is. So if you default on the debt ceiling, you're downgraded as a country, your interest goes up. This is why it always gets extended, because ultimately, even these guys okay, if we get downgraded, do you understand what's going to happen to our banking system? Do you understand what's going to happen with any loans that you have? The government has, you have. Do you understand? Our Federal Reserve System is not going to be able to help your ass. So, and by the way, there's 436 representatives in the House. I think that's the number. 87% of those have bad credit. I'm just saying. Just saying. All right, just saying. It's crazy. Okay. It's not 87%. It was just shock value. All right, it's not 87%. It's only 87 of them, but it's not 87%. All right, so it's not 87%. All right, it's 87 of the 436. Eric, that's right. The country debt's so high. All right. That's why we need assets to leave to our children, because ain't going to be nothing left. Exactly, Vanessa Comegate. Exactly. And credit also is going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. The scary part is, like I was beginning to say, is that the mortgage rate reduced a little bit because of this bank crisis, which I'm like, This is one of their last bastions that they can use. So I'm just going to play the advocate that I know what the government's thinking. If we can bring down mortgage rates, people would then buy these crappy homes. And I'm referring to these crappy new homes built in the United States, made of wood, and they're doing shortcuts using inferior wood, even, and inferior products that are no good. And they're building this crappy stuff for 500, 600, 700,000, 400,000. It's ridiculous. But that's the quickest and easiest derivative that you can put in play. So if they come out here, they can switch it anytime they want. They can say, you know what, we're going to reduce interest rates. All of a sudden, you're going to have a million people out here trying to buy something. That's a million pieces of paper that you can turn into derivatives. A million. And you start thinking the average home price is $400,000. That's billions that are derivatives now. Money printing is not needed. And they're giving out these fake loans. And people are going to go out here. And now equity rises in the homes because people are buying again. And the same thing starts all over again. They're going to refi, go get a loan, second derivative of the first. Now these people, the home went up another 200,000. Somebody else is going to go refi their house, another derivative upon the first derivative, and the cycle continues. These guys are treacherous. I couldn't believe when I saw it. We have banks being taken over, and the mortgage lenders have reduced the mortgage rate, even after the Fed has increased interest rates for the last year and a half. This is crazy. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. I mean, this is like, nobody would believe you if you said this. They'd be like, have you lost your mind? What are you talking? There's no way. There's no way they're going to do any. I said, I would say there's no way as well, but it's happened. Interest rates on mortgages came down in light of the bank problem. You can't make this stuff up. All right. It's getting scary out here, ladies and gentlemen. Try to get your assets in order. You got to get something that pays you. You got to get assets that you can transfer, and don't mess up either, because now you know what's coming next. You being able to transfer your assets is going to be very difficult. So therefore, you're going to need your trust set up. You're going to need, in certain environments, when we're talking about something simple as real estate, in most states, all you have to do is, if you want to leave something to somebody, just make a joint deed and put joint tenant with right of survivorship. So that way, if a person passes away, it automatically comes to you. You don't have to go through probate. You don't have to go through any shenanigans. That's one thing when it's real estate. That's very, very simple. Money, clearly, no problem. Crypto, clearly, no problem. But your bank account, you have to have a beneficiary. Insurance, you have to have a beneficiary. So anything that the government can grab, such as you doing something crazy like you're the only person and you're older and you have pieces of property and you only have it in your name, and then you have the gall to leave somebody a will. Yes, the gall to leave a will, because now if there's other siblings or other family members that have a tie or can claim they have a tie to it, you're under probate, automatic. And that's thousands of dollars you're going to have to spend unnecessarily. This is where the next point comes, how they take the bottom 50%'s money, because our 50% of the wealthiest money, that's how they take their assets, because it gets tied up, because it's not properly set up to be transferred after you're gone. You can't write afterwards and say, hey, this is what I meant to do. This is what I wanted to do. No, you're taught, go get a will. They don't say nothing about go get a trust. Why aren't you being taught get a trust when you're 5 years old, 8 years old, 10 years old? This is how you do it. This is what you should do. This is how you protect yourself. No, they tell you, oh, just go get a will. Don't worry about it. Because they know the state controls the probate process. And they could string it along as long as they want. They can do whatever they want. They can put ointment in the mix. So this is exactly why you want to set everything up properly while you're in your good state of mind. Don't mess around. All right? Don't mess around. And quite frankly, I got to tell you, family members, my mom told her for 25 years, add somebody's name on the house. I don't care. Joint tenants with right of survivorship. It doesn't even have to be me, anybody, any of my brother, my sisters, anybody. I don't really care who it is. No, ain't going to do it. Leaves a will to one of the siblings. Well, it's got to go to probate because we have more than one sibling. There's no way around it. It's crazy because you have to transfer the title of the home during probate. Now, if somebody wants to get real crazy, now it's going to cost more money, but nobody's getting real crazy. But the fact of the matter is somebody could. And you want to leave these loopholes out here. And we wouldn't have had to spend thousands of dollars with lawyers and the state. It would have just been transferred if you just put a person on with joint tenant with right of survivorship. That's it. All right. So these are the kind of things, right? We need some things like that. Yeah, we need education in the trust area. I should bring on Darcy again. She has trust. I haven't done it in 3 years. So now would be a good time. Whenever she has some time in the next 2 weeks, we're going to talk some trust. All right. I had this convo recently with my ex-hubby regarding his properties. Yes, exactly, Vanessa Kamage. He's in Florida. And it's simple. You just need a joint tenant with right of survivorship. That's it. And you don't even have to do probate in Florida. So it's crazy. Oh, and has a house in Florida too. We got a problem. Didn't put nobody's name on there. Same thing. Ridiculous. Unnecessary. Yes, everybody needs a trust in 2023. Exactly. Right. And this is the thing right here. You got to do it, ladies and gentlemen. But the problem is, just like any problem, if you've been in the military, you guys can go down to the legal aid. They can set up for you at no cost. You just go down there. Everybody else, well, and unfortunately, everybody else, it generally costs you thousands of dollars. But never fear. Never fear. We have some help coming. SSN Nation is here. SSN Academy, SSN University. We'll put somebody on because generally they charge for this. That's why nobody wants to really give it up, even though there's probably somebody on YouTube talking about this. But we want to get things set up proper, right? And then, of course, people want to set up, assets within the trust. And if you do, okay, let's start some things out. If you want to so let's say you have a car. Your car has a VIN number. All right. Keep in mind, your VIN number is for like DMV, United States government or the state government. Keep in mind, if you do a trust, you have your own number. That car is no longer VIN number, blah, blah, it's number, whatever you want. Everything is in your trust is your asset. So therefore, you control what it is. You put it under number X. You don't use the VIN number. Just saying. That's when I wouldn't do that. So that's just a tip start, right? Everything. So if you're leaving, let's just say you're leaving paintings, furniture, whatever. You use numbers. You use like serial numbers, authenticator numbers, whatever you want to use. That's what you're using. It's your own trust numbers. So now when you look at this thing, it's no longer what you said it was. It's this number. This identifier is that. Okay, that's just for starters, just to set some things up in your mind. Get your mind straight for this. All right. It's not the VIN number off of your cars. It's not the VIN numbers on the motorcycles, the boats, the yachts, whatever else you got. No, you're using your trust is your identifier numbers, not your crap, because you can't see inside my trust no more. On the paperwork, it says the trust for the vehicles or the boats or whatever. And so therefore, you don't need to see inside the trust. Sorry, the trust owns it. You can back up now. You don't need to. It's none of your business what we got in here. That's how it works. All right. And also it's an asset protection as well. Just for starters, we'll get somebody on here, ladies and gentlemen. All right. We'll get the professionals on. All right. We'll get the professionals. But again, trying to get things out from them is hard because they spent thousands of dollars just even getting the info and getting everything together, doing things. So generally trying to get some things out in a proper order is difficult because they normally don't explain it to people. Whenever somebody says, explain this to me for free, they're just like, okay, there's more to it, but here's what you can do. So we'll see. We'll get it out of her and maybe even bring on another person as well that does this game. And it'll be very, very interesting. So hopefully in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll see about that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to go on and on too much longer because this affects all of us. This little stuff that's going on with these banks is affecting us, or believe it or not. It's not for the better. Don't let the government spin it like, oh, yeah, we're good. The depositors are good. Everything's good. Don't let them spin this on you like that. You need to start thinking about protecting yourself financially and leaving your money in a bank. Don't do it. Multiple leveraging. Don't do it. Credit. I hate to say it, but you guys have noticed I rarely do credit videos like I used to initially for the first 2 to 3 years. And that's because once interest rates start increasing, most people carry debt, and therefore you're going to be carrying way too much debt. Way too much debt. So any increase that you're going to get, because the prime rate is going to increase, and then you get the notices going, okay, we're going to raise you up another 2%, you're going to have issues. And they're setting everything up for inflation to continue. Billions of dollars out of thin air. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap this up tonight. If you missed, it was short and sweet earlier today with Gwen on Larimar. You guys knew most of all of this on Larimar. So Gwen just went over again and told you how much the percentage of the buildings that were already sold out. Already said in the front towers, Ocean View units. Well, I call Ocean View Direct. Unit 05, 05, 07. I don't know what's in the middle, like 02's in the middle. And then 01 and 010 in Tower 4 and in Tower 2. Those are Ocean View units. So get in while you can, because the next phase is going to cost more. All right, ladies, get your ass now before it's too late. I'm kind of upset. I'm livid about what's happening. And I'm also livid that we have these that are in finance like it's okay to bail out, take over companies using debt to take over companies that owe debt, and acting like that's okay. And we're saving the economy. We're saving the contagion. I'm like, act like a capitalist, and who cares about the contagion? Because quite frankly, you guys already know, most of you, you're not in the top 10% of the wealthiest, right? Those are the guys that have their money at stake over here. You might have 100,000 in the bank. You might have 50,000. You might have 25, 250,000. Well, it wouldn't matter because, as Professor Antival already shown, 2% is what's covered by the FDIC. This is why they have the situation with them saying, hey, guys, we can't cover this. So we can't have other bank runs, because then not only does 40 million people know about it, 200 million people would know about it, and people wouldn't trust money with the banks like this is 1935 anymore. 1945, when people didn't leave money in a bank. They said, banks, they stole my money before. We don't want that, because then we'll be up a creek without a paddle. So that's all that there can be. Victor Marrero, he's on it. He's on. trust to protect your assets is critical. Another Margaritaville owner has a one-night renter, and apparently this renter had a slip and fall. Oh, the renter is now asking for the owner's insurance info. Exactly. 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 And there's another thing about this as well. What's scary about this is this. Even if the owner has an LLC and he has the unit under the LLC, most of the time, all of us, guilty one time or another, will have your name on the LLC. So now they sue you and the LLC trying to get money. And that's why they're asking for the owner's information, whether it's a LLC or an owner. I want to know what Margaritaville does, because I think ultimately they can hold out, but I think the person would have to bring a suit to get that information, which I don't know what would really happen, quite frankly. I don't know. Maybe Victor Morrell knows. Let me see what he knows. As a short-term property rental landlord, I also have an umbrella policy of 1.5 million. And this is on top of the 500K basic coverage. Yes, people are looking for a quick buck. This is an insurance scam. Exactly. And Victor Morrell, thank you so much for mentioning that umbrella, because this is exactly why you have to carry it, right? And this also lets people know, if you're going to be in this condo villa rental business, you're going to have to do the same thing. It's not really that expensive, but you're going to have to do the same thing. Now, what's interesting about this, there's a distinction that I have that I always say. This is one of the reasons why I always use the condo timeshare model. Because guess who's holding all these insurance policies? Because people always do the slip and fall, because they're actually checking in under that name. When you slide your card, it says that condo hotel's name. So I'm not responsible if something happens at the place, and that's why they have insurance. I gave the story about my Scottsdale location, where people came in, took off the flat screens and busted up the walls and walked out with them and did what all kind of crazy havoc. And Airbnb, even though they had the $1 million policy, the actual resort had the policy in place. So me nor Airbnb had to pay anything. It's a beautiful thing if you can get it. But that's one of the reasons why I went that route as well. But this is what you have to do. Like everybody that's going to have something in the DR is not like the litigious United States. But because you have the litigious United States citizens going to the DR, you never know what's going to happen. So therefore, you want to make sure that you're covered for the limited little liability over there. All right. I won't have that protection when I own condos over there or villas. So just saying, this is what we got to do. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Victor Morrell, for mentioning that, because I had to leave this on. Umbrella policy. Check that out, write that down, ladies and gentlemen, and it's on top of the 500K basic. Yes, just keep that in mind. You live in the litigious United States. That's how it works. That's exactly. So if you have your LLC under your trust, can they still sue you? They can try, but generally they're going to be blocked. So they can try. But that's because in America, you can sue anybody. Doesn't mean that they're going to be able to do it. Guess what? Many times the renters will decline medical service, which tells you it's a scam. Plus, crooked lawyers are part of the scam. Exactly, Victor Morrell. It actually is the lawyers. Yep, it is the lawyers. So a person is going, hey man, I slipped, I fell, I got man, yeah, I landed on my shoulder, it kind of hurts. And then they go see a lawyer, because that's the first part of the phase, right? And they go like, maybe I hurt myself. The hospital bill is going to be thousands. I should get some money for it. The lawyer is Johnny on the spot. He's like, hell yeah, let's go down here, because he gets a percentage of it. And he knows that the insurance company is probably going to settle if there's an insurance company. And if there's not an insurance company, they're like, so what? We're just going to sue them. So that's how it works. And the guy was just like rubbing his shoulder, and like 3 or 4 days, he's like, oh, I'm fine. But then the lawyer's like, did you go to rehab? Did you go see a specialist? Oh, in fact, I have some doctor that you can go over here and see. That's their doctor buddies. And the doctor buddies is going, you go see them, it's $1,000 for something that normally it would be like $150. Doctor visit. And he's like, oh, that's it, because that's their buddy system. It's a scam system. It's allowed in the United States. This is what's allowed. All right. This is craziness, what's going on. And here it is. Only if they have access to your name. Exactly, Vanessa Comingate. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. They go in court, they sue the company, the trust, let's say. And then they're like, wait, the trust doesn't own this. They're like, but the LLC does. They're like, yeah, but the trust, it's part of the trust. Sorry. You can't sue them. Not going to happen. That's right. Yes, they will try to sue you even with the LLC, but it would be hard, if not impossible, to get to your asset. Exactly. That's exactly right. And this is why when people say, hey, I work out of my home and do my LLC and this and that and the other, that's fine. But again, you open yourself up to some crooked judge that's going to go, oh, no, you work out of your home. Do you have it separated in the office designation, yada, yada, yada. Oh, no, we're going to treat this just like it's your part of the business. So now you can sue him and that. And then they find out you live in a nice neighborhood and they're like, bingo. That's how they do it. Okay, thanks, guys. Yep, that's one of the things. This is why a lot of people do trust. Trust hides your name, and you designate a trustee, maybe lawyer or family member. Exactly. That's the other thing. You have to trust somebody, unfortunately. You can do other things, gets a looper where you actually control it, but there's ways to do it, but that's a whole nother level. That's where you start getting into, let's just call it the top 10 percenters. This is what they do. Multiple LLC, multiple trusts. It gets crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get into that another day. So I want to just thank you all for being here this evening. And I love you guys. I appreciate all of you being here and the input, the beautiful, knowledgeable input that you guys provide is unmatched anywhere. So thank you so much for helping other people. Whoever sees this after this live stream, it's going to be so very helpful. And make sure you smash that like button down below if you haven't already. And if you like what we talked about tonight, please come back on Wednesday at 8:50 p.m. Yes, it's members only with the icon that can be in the chat room. But hey, everybody can watch, or you can become a member. And please subscribe to the channel if you like, again, what we talk about here, and smash the all notification bell, because even though we do have over 14,000 subscribers, only roughly 1,500 to 2,000 people are sent notifications. A travesty. All right. Yes, that's cool. Good night, fam. Good night to you, Seamless Genius. Thank you so much for your contributions and information, and thank you for asking. And once again, with the heart, we love you. All right. So let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you get your assets. Make sure you get into something where you're down the road, or set yourself up for incoming profits. And that's all you can do at this point. Don't trust any banks. Don't trust anybody holding your money at this point. All right. That's how it's going to be. This is 1929 to 1932. Just keep that in mind. I don't care what's going to happen with the stock market going up for some reason. I don't care why the mortgage rate is going down for some reason. The proof is in the pudding. Banks are insolvent. We are 33, 34, 35 trillion or more in debt as a country. Student loan debt at all-time highs. Credit card debt at all-time record highs. Automobile loan debt, all-time record highs. Something isn't right, and everybody can't afford it. Rent, all-time highs. Everything is at all-time highs. Groceries at all-time highs. This is crazy. So with all that, you should know what's coming next. And here we are. And with all that said, ladies and gentlemen, never fear. Just make sure you do something because you know what's coming. And with all that said, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.